Hello, everyone. It's Reese from the Nightmare Fuel podcast, and I know I've been talking about this subject a lot lately, but this video has to do with police brutality and black crime and that kind of shit. There was a speech given by some very famous NBA players, including Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, and LeBron James, and they touched on this. And I think it's always important because, you know, we can sit here and be like, oh, let's make another video about Jank or Shives or whoever. But this is different. Someone like LeBron James, someone who is a worldwide recognized celebrity, an athlete, when he says we'll have influence. Let's hear what these guys had to say. I'm sure I'm going to be extremely impressed.
Good evening. Tonight is a celebration of sports, celebrating our accomplishments and our victories. But in this moment of celebration, we actually start the show tonight this way. The four of us talking to our fellow athletes with the country watching, because we cannot ignore the realities of the current state of America. The events of the past week have put a spotlight on the injustice, distrust, and anger that plague so many of us.
Yeah, the police really shouldn't be so distrustful of a man who admits that he's armed and then says, hey, I'm only reaching for my wallet. You know, I could be reaching for my gun, but please trust me. Person who was just previously resisting arrest. Yes, that seems like the first person I'm going to trust, Carmelo. That is pure fucking genius. Injustice? Justice was served. A criminal attempted to shoot a police officer and got shot himself. What other outcome would you have preferred? The cop getting shot? Oh, you know, he might as well have just, took the chance to take a bullet because the guy, he might have been reaching for his wallet. I don't know why. Oh, I need to show you my ID. Who cares about your fucking ID? The cop told you not to move and not to resist arrest.
The system is broken. The problems are not new. The violence is not new. And the racial divide definitely is not new.
We're talking about a racial divide that had largely been solved before the formation of Black Lives Matter. They reopened that wound. They take responsibility for that. And also, what does he mean by this violence isn't new? Are you talking about the police, or are you talking about the criminals within the black community who harass police? Please clarify that, Carmelo.
But the urgency to create change is at an all-time high.
We stand here tonight accepting our role in uniting communities to be the change we need to see. We stand before you as fathers, sons, husbands, brothers, uncles, and in my case, as an African-American man and the nephew of a police officer who was one of the hundreds of thousands of great officers serving this country.
Okay, did you notice what he just did? He said, as an African-American man, does that somehow make you an expert on any of this? Because some of the people who happened to get shot were also black. And the other part that he tried to pull was, my uncle. He's a police officer. So therefore, you can trust my opinion on the police force. I'm sure it's well-informed. I'm sure it doesn't stereotype or generalize or overinflate problems. Oh.
But Trayvon Martin,
violent thug who attacked an asshole and got shot and lost his life over it.
Michael Brown,
who attacked a police officer and tried to take his gun and shoot him. Oh, but no, this is your cherub, isn't it? This is your martyr.
Tamir Rice.
Has it ever crossed your mind that these were accidents? They did not do this maliciously. They did not do this on purpose. Is it a tragedy that a 12-year-old was shot for brandishing a toy gun in public? Yes. Yes, it is. It's a fuck up. But can we call it what it is? Can we not act like there is some racist conspiracy within our police departments, please? It's not extremely productive to any of this, and in fact, it spits on the memory of Tamir Rice. That you are trying to utilize his death to make a political point.
Eric Gardner.
Again, an accidental death after resisting arrest. Is it a tragedy? Yes. Is it racism? No.
Laquan McDonald, Alton Sterling, Philando Castile. This is also our reality.
What? How is this your reality? You're filthy rich NBA stars. This isn't your reality. Oh, we finally got to the most recent victims. People don't see a problem with this. People don't see this as tribalism. Oh, I'm going to keep track of the names of victims of police who happen to be part of my ethnic group. And people don't have a problem with that. They are pretty much getting up here on stage and naming their saints, and no one is catching on. Just kidding. Some people are catching on, but not enough. Not enough for me to be impressed.
Generations ago, legends like Jesse Owens, Jackie Robinson, Muhammad Ali, John Carlos, and Tommy Smith, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Jim Brown, Billie Jean King, Arthur Ashe, and countless others. They set a model for what athletes should stand for. So we choose to follow in their footsteps.
Many of those athletes fought for actual racial equality, while you're up here on stage getting paid to spew out BLM propaganda.
The racial profiling has to stop.
And it will once your community stops committing a disproportionate amount of crimes. Do not blame the police for the methods they take to contain that problem.
The shoot-to-kill mentality has to stop.
Hey, police officers, when you tell a man to raise his hands above his head and to not reach for anything, and then he does reach for something after he tells you he's armed, make sure to shoot him in the leg. I mean, you wouldn't want to kill him. This shoot to kill mentality, it just doesn't work. I know you only have a split second to react, but I think that's a very realistic expectation of you. And if you don't do that, you're a bad person.
Not seeing the value of black and brown bodies has to stop.
What? Who doesn't see the value of black and brown bodies? Certainly the NBA does. Where did this even come from? This is just a massive straw man. Just like society at large, we just don't care. You know what? That is complete bullshit. Just on the surface. Think about it. How could there be a social movement called Black Lives Matter if people at large did not care about black and brown bodies? Clearly people do, because if a black person is killed, oftentimes not even for racial reasons, just if a black guy is killed, oh my God, outrage. It's almost the other way around, because everyone, including you guys, including Steve Shives, has failed to mention the white people killed by police officers. It doesn't even come up. Not even as a point.
But also the retaliation has to stop. The endless gun violence in places like Chicago, Dallas, not to mention Orlando, it has to stop. Enough. Enough is enough.
Well, finally, a decent point. Although, I like how black crime, which is a catalyst for tensions between the black community and the police force, is tacked on as an also this needs to stop. The horrendous gun violence in Chicago, that is something that also needs to stop, as well as another problem, which is police brutality. And as we all know, that is a much bigger, much more dangerous problem.
Now, as athletes, it's on us to challenge each other to do even more than what we already do in our own communities. And the conversation cannot stop as our schedules get busy again. It won't always be convenient. It won't. It won't always be comfortable. But it is necessary.
Dwayne, I hate to tell you, but eventually the keyboard warriors are going to get tired and move on. They always do.
We all feel helpless and frustrated by the violence. We do. But that's not acceptable. It's time to look in the mirror and ask ourselves,
X.
what are we doing to create change? It's not about being a role model. It's not about our responsibilities to the tradition of activism. I know tonight we'll honor Muhammad Ali, the GOAT. But to do his legacy any justice, let's use this moment as a call to action for all professional athletes to educate ourselves, explore these issues, speak up, use our influence, and renounce all violence.
See, the sad thing is these guys have great intentions. They've just happened to have bought into a false narrative. They truly want to help. A problem has been put forth to them by the media. The media has overinflated this problem and made it seem worse than it actually is. And these celebrities, I need to spend money. I need to give back to my community. That is the mentality that's going on here. And you can't help but feel a little bad.
And most importantly, go back to our communities. Invest our time, our resources, help rebuild them, help strengthen them, help change them. We all have to do better. Thank you.
I don't disagree with too much that LeBron said there. And indeed, I think that a lot could be done to help the black community, to help decrease the amount of crime within it. And just by doing that would greatly reduce the number of deaths of black men per year at the hands of police officers. But I grow very tired of this celebrity culture because we put so much stock in these people. And we've already seen it, including many videos that I've featured on this channel and videos I've made myself. Machine Gun Kelly, Justin Timberlake, LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, and now Dwayne Wade. They get up there and they can spread Black Lives Matter's message because we have given them some value in society. Your opinion matters more because more people know who you are. You're famous. It doesn't matter what your credentials are. It doesn't even matter if you're just an athlete and you don't really have any political background whatsoever. Let's just take your word for it, that this is a big problem, that you're not misinformed at all. I mean, how could he be? He's famous. People respect him. He must know what he's talking about. This is how Black Lives Matter spreads, and we need to be extremely careful about this in the future. I think more people are waking up to the truth that BLM's message is false, but it's going to take more time. I just grow tired of these cases, many of which are tragedies, being exploited and used for such a disingenuous, dishonest, and disgusting political movement. Fuck Black Lives Matter, and fuck its supporters. Reese out.